Grab a glass, grab your favorite bottle. Gotta sip it slow, yeah, that's the motto. Get relaxed, no reason to trip. It's the boy Brocky, man, whiskey and kicks. We pour a glass, toss it up. Air Max ones on my feet, throw them up. Get relaxed, no reason to trip. It's the boy Brocky, man, whiskey and kicks. Kicking game on drinks and libations. Sipping on it slow, keeping with the patience. Freeze on my feet, you know I stay racing. Drinking straight up.
All right, it's your boy Brocky here, Whiskey and Kicks. We are on site at Eight Distilling with the head distiller, my man Alex Laufer. How you doing, brother?
Doing good. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, appreciate it. Man, it's so much. You know, I've been coming to 18 for so long, and enjoying this place and wanting to shoot with you guys. We've forged a relationship over these couple years or so, and I'm happy to be here, man. And in your work area.
Right. Oh, it's great to have you here. We've been missing having people in here.
It's been crazy.
Yeah.
But let's get into your background a little bit first. What brought you into booze? Sure.
Yeah. So always enjoyed a little whiskey along the way, and other spirits and beer and wine too. I think my first whiskey experience was probably Scotch.
Okay.
Probably not a great blend, but I got into
right.
Yeah, I got into more single malts, and then moved out to California after college. I worked in biotech. That was my first career.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I worked in labs for about 11 years, mostly out in San Francisco. But two things were going on there. I first got really into going to the wine country and trying new wines. Craft beer was already going strong. Anchor Steam Brewery. Sierra Nevada was my beer of choice for a while. And then at the same time, I had a buddy out there, played sax, cool guy from Cincinnati. Cincinnati, of course, not very far from Kentucky, big bourbon drinker.
Right.
Although his bourbon of choice was just regular Jim Beam. So I did a lot of shots of just Beam.
Right.
So I always enjoyed it. And then moved out to DC, reconnected with Sandy Wood, my friend from college. We know each other since our undergrad days.
Oh, okay.
And after a few years, he approached me with this idea of opening a distillery. He wanted me to come on board as a distiller. So that's how we got our start. We trained up. We interned with some great folks over at Smooth Ambler in West Virginia. And then Sandy actually went to Scotland and trained at Springbank, a great Scotch single malt distillery.
Awesome.
Very old school there. And we both spent some time at Koval in Chicago.
Okay.
So we got to know how we were going to start doing things. And then, our first steps were really just finding this great space in Ivy City and getting our stills and other equipment on board.
So let's go back a little bit then.
Yeah.
Where are you originally from?
Originally from the Boston area.
Oh, yeah. Boston.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And then went to school in New York, and then right after went to San Francisco.
You're a Red Sox fan?
Yeah.
All right, we can still be friends. I'm a Yankee through and through. We can still be friends, man. It's cool.
Yeah. Before we moved here, actually, we spent a year in Brooklyn, and I was working up at New York Presbyterian, almost in the Bronx. But that neighborhood was very Dominican, and I would walk around with my Red Sox hat on, and they were fans because Manny and Poppy were back in the day.
So, I mean, two of the biggest names in baseball, there in the Red Sox. I'll give you guys that. I respect those guys. Those guys. You guys had a long journey to get where you are now, as far as the caliber of squad that you have. But we won't get all into the sports. So that took you. From Boston, you went to New York after that. You said, and then
San Francisco.
You went out west, and then you came. Then you came back. Yeah. So, getting started with 18, like most distilleries, when you're starting up, I'm assuming you guys sourced out.
Yeah, so we with our internship at Smooth Ambler, we saw what those guys were doing with the old Scout line. So the old Scout line was all sourced. It's all from former Seagram's distillery that's now MGP down in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. So we actually sourced some of the same bourbon, the high rye bourbon.
Okay.
Not as much as they did. That became a huge line for them. But for us, it became a part of our Untitled whiskey line. Where we are taking these source barrels, blending them, and then do different finishes and blends on them. Up until our most recent release, which we'll have a taste of in a minute, it's the first time we didn't do a finish in another barrel.
Oh, with the whole Untitled line?
In the Untitled line so far, yeah.
All right, so the Untitled line itself, was it meant to be what it has become when you guys started it off?
Yeah, we definitely wanted it to be different from our core lineup, the District Made lineup. We wanted to be as transparent as we can about the fact that it's not whiskey that we made ourselves for the most part, although now we are starting to use some of our own juice in the Untitled line. So that was important for us, make sure that our audience and our customers knew that it was sourced, but at the same time we wanted to be able to have fun and do different blends, different iterations. Some are really small batch, like a single barrel. We only sell it here at the distillery. Some are larger, and we're distributing them across our footprint.
So I just want to throw it out there, and I've said it before. There's nothing wrong with sourced whiskey. It's whiskey at the end of the day. It's a matter of what you do with it when you get it. You know, so if you're taking it from somewhere else and pawning it off as your own, then that's a different thing. Right. But blending is an art. I don't care what anyone says, man. Blending is an art, and you guys with your Untitled line are killing it.
Oh, thank you.
Now, I don't know how widespread it is. I don't know how many people know outside of the DMV, and I don't know where you guys are, distributing. I'm a whiskey drinker, man, and I'm telling you, I love Untitled. Even the gins, the Untitled gin, I love. Yeah. So you guys are doing great things.
Thank you.
Let's taste some whiskey.
Yeah.
How about that?
Let's do it.
And talk about.
All right.
So what do you have?
Yeah. I figured we'd start with our Untitled Whiskey number 9. Okay. This is the second batch. First batch. So this we bottled up about a year ago, and this is a sourced bourbon. It's not the high rye from Seagram's. This is a different one, a wheated whiskey. Okay. We signed an NDA with the distillery.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I can't tell you who made that. It's like a maker's mark a little bit. So this one, in batch 1, we blended some barrels and we refilled Calvados casks, so French apple brandy. We loved it so much, it won us a gold medal. So we decided to go larger on it. We brought in an entire shipping container from France of these Calvados barrels. We actually shared the container with our good friends up at Sagamore in Baltimore.
Nice. Okay, yeah.
So they have their Calvados finished rye, and we have batch 2 of this.
The fruitiness up front, Yeah. That is beautiful, man.
Yeah, so these barrels are just gorgeous. It's obviously French oak. They looked very weathered when we got them, so they have probably many years of the brandy in there. And then the finish for us was about 18 months.
Oh, man.
On an 8-year-old.
It's beautiful, man.
Thank you.
You know, it's such a contrast, and that's what I asked for, right? I did ask for a contrast to the 18. Man, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, the idea of finishing whiskey has been happening for a long time. Primarily, we see it in Scotland and Ireland. However, we're seeing it more and more in bourbon and rye. And we're excited to keep playing with it and keep doing things. And some we like, we'll do them again, like this number 9. Sometimes we do it once and that's it. There's been a couple of, failed experiments. Untitled Whiskey 4 was that green coffee bean that was in the barrel. And the coffee roaster, Vigilante, he went to roast those beans. They had too much bourbon on them. They smoldered. Oh, so he never got a product out of it. Almost set his roaster on fire.
Oh, wow.
The whiskey was fun, though. But anyway.
It's all science, man. At the end of the day, it's science. So, okay, you said something there that made me think. And, I wasn't going to come to 18 Distilling without mentioning my absolute favorite, which is Untitled number 7. So what is it about number 9 that you were able to come with a second offering of it, but number 7 is done?
We still had the bourbon from number 9, so we were able to repeat it. We were able to get the barrels as well. It's different than batch 1 because the Calvados barrel was different, but it's similar enough.
It's supposed to be different, right?
Yeah.
Right.
7 was an interesting blend. It was actually a blend of 3 different bourbons, actually 2 bourbons and a Tennessee whiskey. We don't have, that was the last of that Tennessee whiskey. Wow. We don't have any more of it. We don't know who made that whiskey, to be honest. We bought it through a broker. We think it's George Dickel, but we only had a little bit of it, and I don't know if we'll get it in again. So that's why we may not see 7 again.
Oh man, listen. So, and I don't want to jump ahead too much. However, like I said, 7 is my favorite. I still have a swig of it at the house. I also have ski masks at home, and I see a number 7 up here in the spirit safe. I see a number 7 up there, so if it goes missing,
we might be able to dig up some more.
You might be able to. You see how that happens. So tell me a little bit about the spirit safe, though. The concept.
Yeah, so we're sitting in the spirit safe. This is used to be offices back in the day, and then we had the great idea last year to convert it into a smaller kind of clubby VIP experience. So you can come in here with a few of your friends.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe we can fit in better days 10 or 12 people in here tops.
Right.
We've got our own little bar cart in here, so you can have private bar service, or you can just come in here and try spirits, sip some whiskey, hang out, have your own little tasting menu. That's the idea. Of course, unfortunately, with the pandemic happening, we haven't really used the room yet.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to be using it today.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I'm happy, man. This is great. It's a warm feeling. And yeah, so do people kind of like reserve this room? There's a concept for them to like reserve this room?
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, so you can reserve it for a couple hours.
Nice.
And just, have your own service and really decide between different levels. You want to come in and have your own cocktails, or you just want to have the room and step outside to our bar and order drinks there.
Indeed.
Every kind of thing we can do here.
I always said if I ever get married again, I'm getting married in a barrel room in a distillery somewhere. Yeah. If it ever happens again.
Fair enough.
So so I want to get too carried away here.
Sure.
I'll get back to that number 9. So what do we have next?
Well, I thought we'd go to a couple of our more recent releases next. First, in the Untitled line, Untitled 18 just came out last June. The big difference between this one and what we were doing previously is there's no finishes on this. So it is a blend of 2 whiskeys.
June of 2020.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, just came out. So we still have a little bit of this left, maybe 15 cases, but
I bought my bottle.
All right. So yeah, this one is a blend of that Seagram's High Rye Bourbon I mentioned earlier, and our own rye whiskey.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we blended both. We left it at cask strength. So to refresh my memory, it's 122 proof.
Yes, indeed.
So a bit of a monster, but it doesn't taste that much.
The proof on the 9?
I believe 94. 96.
96, okay.
No, 86. I'm sorry.
86?
Much lower, yeah.
Oh, 86. Okay, so we're jumping up, baby.
Yes, we are. Yeah. So 86 was where we liked it.
So I'm getting maple syrup on the nose. And I didn't get that the first time I tried this when I did the video for this. I don't remember getting that. So it's jumping out there now, though.
Yeah, sometimes it's also how long the bottle's been open. Let a little air in there sometimes. That first crack of a bottle, sometimes the flavors are a little muted, a little constrained. And this bottle's been open for a little while.
Okay.
A little air in there.
Yeah.
The whiskey's not going to go bad.
Nope.
But sometimes it's good to get a little air.
All right.
Yeah,
cheers, man. Cheers.
So, the own rye.
Oh, man. It's such a complicated, I don't want to say complicated. It's the taste, it's just all over the place, man. It's you know what I'm saying? It's a complicated thing. It's and the finish is long. The nose is fantastic. You guys did a great job with 18, and I'm telling you, Alex, I was so stuck on 7 that I've tried a bunch of the Untitled stuff, but I haven't bought any of them until 18. You guys got me. I may finish my number 7 now that I have 18. It's fantastic, man. I'm really excited about this release that you guys put out.
Thank you. Yeah. So the rye whiskey we make ourselves. The rye is grown out in Culpeper, Virginia.
So my family's from there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So Craig is our farmer out there. Fairview Cattle and Grain.
Okay.
And then, so he's growing this varietal called the Bruzzi rye, Italian varietal of rye. Great stuff. And then we use some corn grown in Chestertown, Maryland, out on the Eastern Shore, at Land's End Farm. And Pepsi is our farmer there. I don't know if that's his given name, but he's Pepsi.
Right.
And then it's really heavy on the malted rye that we get from a malt house called Riverbend down in Asheville, North Carolina. And so that's what we use to make our rye, aged for a minimum 2 years.
Okay.
In this blend, it was just about 2 years.
Okay.
But then we blended it with this 14-year-old high rye bourbon, classic from Seagram's, the MGP, and they really pair really nicely together.
Yeah, you know, the sweetness is like kind of piercing through. You're getting that heat, you know, that you would get from a rye. Yep. But that sweetness is piercing through, so I'm getting the bourbon you're talking about. I'm getting that for sure.
Yeah, and our own rye has a nice sweetness to it as well because of that high amount of malts that we use. 29% of the mash bill is malted, so it really gives a nice sweetness. And we do use some corn in the mash bill, so again, a little bit more sweet from that.
Nice, and I'm telling you guys, if you're gonna try this. Number 18, bring a couple of water drops. Put a couple of drops of water in there, and you're likely to get a completely different experience the second time after you sip it without the water drops. It's that complex. That's not complicated.
Should we get a little water?
Hey, sure.
I'll get it.
You got it? Yeah,
all right.
Let's do it.
Unprofessional, I know.
No, Alexis will take care of this.
All right. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Flavors open up.
Okay, cool.
Help yourself first.
Thank you.
Yeah, flavors open up more when you add water to a spirit. So it actually is a chemical reaction. So you do get some changes. Throws off a little bit of heat, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And then, you definitely open up the flavors more with a few drops of water.
Yeah, buddy.
Especially when you are talking cask strength, you know.
Yeah. So the fact this is 122 point something, right? So 122 proof, essentially.
Yep.
That's a decision that's made before you guys even start with it.
At cask strength, it's not actually entirely up to us, which is the beautiful thing about the barrel.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So we put it in the barrel. And that's where we have our choice. So in the case of the rye, we put it in at 115 proof. And then I believe Seagram's barrels at 110, a little bit lower. Now, both of them climb over time. So what happens is, you know, the water molecule that's diluting the alcohol is much smaller than the ethanol, and it can more easily evaporate and pass through the pores in the oak. And so we're losing more water over time. And that's particular to our climate here in DC, which is very similar to Kentucky and Tennessee.
Right.
So generally we see the proof come up.
Okay.
And that's what's happened in these barrels.
Indeed.
Yeah.
What did the water drop do for you? Did it do anything?
Yeah, so one thing it does is at the high proof, the alcohol does have a little bit of a burn, and it's nice to be able to mellow that a little, and just be able to enjoy it a little more. I often don't like to put an ice cube in because when you bring down the temperature, you do dull some of the flavors.
Right, I agree 1,000%. I actually never sip whiskey with ice in it. I drink neat, unless the circumstances call for that. You know, if I'm out with friends or something like that, so I'll throw some ice in there. So take it easy. But yeah, the drinking it neat is the great experience for me. So are you the person who walks around to those barrels? What is it called? What's that thing called?
Whiskey thief.
And you put that in a glass and you say, this is going to be, we're going to keep this the way it is. We're not going to do anything else to this.
So we're pretty democratic here. We're a very small team. On the production side, it's myself and Stephen Corrigan. He's been working with us since practically day one. I started as an intern, and we just kept him on.
Okay.
So Stephen and I are the production team. We've had other distillers work with us in the past, but now we're down to just the two of us. Stephen does a lot of the blending and a lot of the barrels.
I heard that name, but I heard he's an off-camera kind of guy.
Yeah, we'll catch him on the tour maybe if we're lucky. But yeah, no, he's great. Yes, I can't take a lot of the credit. He is definitely our master blender. I'm sure he wouldn't like to hear the term master. He's our blender.
Right.
He's great. But yeah, he has a great palate, and it's always fun. Like we've involved when we're doing different blends and different releases.
Yeah.
We'll involve, my partner in the business, Sandy. We'll grab our sales guy, John. We'll grab folks at the bar, and really, the more palates we have tasting, the better. We had Bill Thomas from Jack Rosen the other day.
Yeah, Bill's a good guy, man.
Yeah, we poured him a sample out of a barrel we might release of our own bourbon. For our anniversary, which is January 8th coming up.
Okay.
And it was great to get his feedback as well. So we love getting as much feedback as possible.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, if you guys ever need an extra palate, you know how I gave you my card. You know where to go.
Yeah.
And so that's a good approach to it. Get everybody involved or whatever. I mean, I didn't look at you and think dictator. So.
No. I mean, that's the thing about taste, right? I love the science of distilling, and my background is science, but at the same time, when I lived in California, I also loved to cook, and I love the idea of California cuisine, or at least my interpretation of California cuisine is you start with this great, amazing fresh produce and ingredients, and let those flavors shine through on the plate. Same thing I bring to distilling. Let those flavors shine through in the bottle.
Nice.
And then, but every palate is very subjective. Every taste is always right.
Right.
There's no wrong.
Right.
And sometimes you can taste off notes, like there was something wrong in the process, either with the barrel or with your own processes when you distilled or fermented, or the grain itself. But usually there's nothing wrong, and everyone's got their own opinion, and it's all good.
I say it all the time. You might taste vanilla. You might get nose vanilla. I might not nose vanilla.
Yep.
I might get nutmeg. You might get cinnamon. There's no wrong, and not to say too much, but there's even when pairing a whiskey with a cigar, it's all about your palate. It's about you and your experience.
Right.
So there is no that doesn't pair well with that. You can't tell me that because it might pair well for me.
Yeah.
So before we move on to the last spirit here, how'd you guys pivot with COVID? Yeah,
so it's been tough. I won't sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
We lost a good portion of our team. Unfortunately, we weren't able to keep everybody on.
Yeah.
Our sales really plummeted with a lot of the losses of business in our partners in bars and restaurants in DC and Maryland, Delaware. It's been tough.
Yeah.
Now, the sales at liquor stores have actually done pretty good, A lot of people like me enjoying a bottle at home. So that's been hard. And of course, our own tasting room is important for us. We love having people in here. We love being able to host, do tours, make cocktails with these spirits, and we'll do some of those later, I'm sure.
Indeed.
But yeah, it's been hard to have that closed.
Yeah.
So initially we halted all production of spirits, and we started making hand sanitizer because there was a need locally and nationally.
Yeah.
So we really went all in on it. In fact, we had some great collaborations with local breweries and cideries. Ancho Cider, 3 Stars, DC Brow, Right Proper, Hellbender. I'm sure I'm missing somebody. Port City.
Nice.
They all were in the same boat as us. They weren't having the business at bars and restaurants, so they had lots of kegs and of beer and cider that they couldn't sell. And instead of letting that go down the drain, they brought it to us. We distilled it. We made hand sanitizer with it. We donated hundreds and hundreds of gallons. In fact, if anyone has a cause that you need some hand sanitizer, we're happy to make additional donations.
That's awesome.
So we did that for about 3 months. It was crazy, and then we started making spirits again, and really, it was a relief to start making spirits again. But we're down to just Stephen and I back there. The bar's still closed, unfortunately, but we've done some other things that have been fun. One, we do sell some cocktails to go. We were kind of a little bit late to the bandwagon, but yeah, I mean, you know, I love making a cocktail at home, but sometimes I don't want to go through the trouble.
Right.
So this way, pick one up here. You can just shake it on some ice.
Hey, you might be out and about. You might be thirsty.
Exactly. Yeah.
So please, DC government, if you're watching this, please keep the cocktails to go. Keep that around, please.
Yes.
I
yes,
mean,
indeed.
Let's do that. So that's great. And then you guys are selling bottles out front too.
Yeah. So we've been keeping retail open. In fact, more open than we were before. Officially, we're open every day except for Monday.
Okay.
Every evening, 3 to 7 during the week, and then 1 to 5 on the weekends. And you can order online and all that stuff. And what's also been fun is we've been doing these virtual tastings.
Yeah, man. You're shining on those, man. You're doing good with those.
Yeah, so I did one last night. So we started with weekly, and now we're going to do them monthly.
Okay.
Open to the public. But if you have a group, you want to do it a group private one, virtual tasting. We're doing those, 3 or 4 nights a week.
Oh, okay.
So that's a lot of fun. You get a group of friends together. We'll get you a kit for every person. And it comes with, 4 little bottles of the spirits. We'll go through a tasting, a little virtual tour with some video, and then it's either me or Steven blabbing at you for a couple hours. And
if you guys, by the time you see this video, if you haven't seen the Whiskey and Kicks virtual tasting with 18 Distilling, then I failed at my job, because it's gonna happen. That's pretty awesome, man. That's great. We have to figure something out with that.
Absolutely.
Sure. I'm all on board with that.
Yeah.
So next whiskey, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's move on. So our most recent release just came out.
I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, just came out this last week. Is our single cask rye, district made. So this is all 100% our make. This is 1 barrel, single cask strength, 132 proof. It's a strong one, even stronger than the last one. So yes, some water.
Yeah.
This was barrel number 48, so going back in time, and 30 of those initial barrels were sourced. So this is one of the first barrels we ever laid down.
Awesome.
So our own make rye. And
yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So we tasted a few. We didn't have too many of our, oldest barrels. This one is 5 years, 189 days. So almost, just about 5.5 years.
Right. My level of excitement is through the roof right now. I'm keeping it cool with you guys. Let's see. Oh yeah, man. That has attitude. Mm-hmm. Oh boy.
Yeah. So we love,
Ooh. Pardon me, Alex. Sorry about that.
No worries.
So I'm picking up pear. Yeah, I just picked up pear, and I've never picked up pear in a whiskey ever.
Yeah.
So pear and fig. I'm picking up fig big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. So a lot of these fruit notes come from fermentation. They're these compounds called esters that deliver these nice fruit notes that over time change in the barrel and develop into classic whiskey notes.
The fig is dominant.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's fantastic, man. While we're enjoying this rye, which I love very much, and Alexis doesn't know, but I'm gonna buy her a bottle too. You guys made a change from a branding and marketing perspective in regards to your Untitled series and your District Made series, because this juice, not this particular juice, but your regular bourbons and stuff used to be in a bottle just like this.
It's true.
You guys made a change.
I don't know if we can see it on the camera. I'll go up there and reach one. We had a few different brands. Here's the old bottle of the rye there.
Yeah.
The Rock Creek.
The medals.
Yeah, a couple of medals on there, but we love this bottle.
Rock Creek Rye, that's right. That's what it was called.
Rock Creek Rye, yeah. So we love the bottle. Little Sumo is the name of the bottle, actually.
Oh, okay.
Little Sumo. Savor Glass, a French glass company, makes this bottle. It's a beautiful bottle.
Beautiful bottle.
But it's real heavy. And it's big. And bartenders, some of them, having a hard time pouring that easy. Now, if you're pouring a little whiskey in a glass, but if you're making cocktails and moving quick, it was a little big. So that was one of our considerations. The other thing is, is the label's real delicate, right? So it doesn't like pop out at you.
Right.
Whereas District Made, big, bold,
boom,
boom. We also had the Rock Creek Rye, we had the Ivy City Gin, we had the District Made Vodka. There was a lot of different things going on, and people didn't necessarily know that we were all 1-8 distilling.
Right.
So putting everything under the District Made line made a lot of sense to us. Now this bottle is custom for us. We got it made for us. It's actually a little bit more affordable than having that fancy French glass. This is made in England, so it's a company called Allied Glass. I had to go. They insisted that one representative of 1-8 travel to England and see the production run. I've never been to a glass manufacturing place.
Right.
Had to see our bottles being
Such
made.
a hard life.
Yeah. I mean, I was there for 2 nights. It was no fun. But,
that's different.
But yeah, it was really cool to see our bottles being made.
Yeah.
Has our logo on it, has the, it's hard to see probably on the camera, but the 3 stars of the DC flag on there. But what's nice is it's got some texture, it's easy to hold, it's easy to pour, and it's just ours.
That's a great design. And then there's, can I take a look at that?
Of course, Brocky. Yeah.
Right, so yeah. It's I mean, it's really intricate. The stars, the 1-8. And I'm a bottle guy.
Yeah.
So that's why, I wanted to talk about this. I'm a bottle guy, so they did. You guys did a great job with this bottle, man. I love it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you're right. That's a great point. I never thought about the bartending perspective.
Right. Yeah. For the folks that are actually pouring it and have to move. Yeah, this was a little harder. So the Untitled is going to stay in the Little Sumo, and I love the name, Little Sumo.
Yeah, me too. I never knew that.
So yeah, we're going to keep that for those Untitles, but the District Made is just in ours. And
at the end of the day, I mean, yes, you can use whatever spirit you want to use for a cocktail. I get it, but I think maybe 9 times out of 10, unless you're coming here, when you're ordering Untitled, they're gonna be pouring that into a glass.
Oh yeah.
And you're gonna sip it.
Yeah.
So here they'll blend it up and stuff like that, and I think I'll be getting a cocktail with number 9 blended into it later on. But typically, this is gonna get poured into a glass. You're gonna sip it.
Right.
I wouldn't. I've never used Untitled I've never used my number 7.
Oh no.
For an old fashioned.
No.
Never.
No.
Never. And I'm not even that guy. You can do whatever you want to do with your whiskey, but for sure, man. But with these Snickers, though.
Oh. Yeah. So yeah. I'm not quite so young these days, but and neither are my sneakers. I save these for special occasions, occasionally down here giving tours. So I don't know if we can see these out here.
We'll get them. We'll get them.
Land, but I picked these up actually on eBay.
Okay.
Probably about 15 plus years ago. These are Most Def Brooklyn Converse All-Stars.
Is that right?
Yeah, man. I was living in Brooklyn at the time before I moved here to DC.
Excuse me.
And these are Most Def's Brooklyn. It's his, yeah.
Oh,
I'm not necessarily a Converse All-Star guy.
Alex,
but,
good one. I
love these.
I didn't even know those existed.
Yeah.
Most
they go back. They go back.
That's a Brooklyn bridge on the side.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I'm vintage.
That is beautiful.
Vintage is my sneakers, I guess. I don't know.
That is dope. Are you into Most Def?
Oh yeah.
I love
Black
Most.
Star shirt.
Oh man, I love Most so much. Yo, that's crazy. So, what do you like to put on your feet to work in?
Right. Yeah. So usually I'm not wearing these here unless maybe I'm just hanging out.
Right.
Which doesn't happen too much. Work boots, man. I never wore them regular before starting here at 1-8. However, you have to.
Yeah.
I've had some occasions where I'm glad I got that steel toe.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
So I was wearing a lot of Red Wing.
Okay.
But they weren't really doing it for me, and they were falling apart. We put a hurting on boots here.
Right.
Between a lot of hot water, some chemicals, a lot of slip, a lot of different things going on. So actually Keen, the hiking boot folks, they make hiking boots and running sneakers. They make work boots. First pair I've had the last few months now. Super comfortable, a little lighter weight, good grip, solid boots. We'll see how they hold up, but Keens. of all things.
So when you have to, you get dressed up and you want to go out, no work tonight. You want to go out in town, pre-COVID probably.
Right.
If you want to get dressed up, are you a guy that has a selection of shoes, from when you dress up? I'm not. I have a few pair, but typically I'm putting on some sneakers. So.
Right. No, I don't have too many. I got a pair of shoes that I wear around like most times, and then I got a pair that are for the special occasions.
It's my kind of guy here. Yeah. It's my kind of guy.
Now my 15-year-old son, he's
a sneaker guy.
Oh my God, we watched the Sneakerheads documentary together, man. He loves that shit. Yeah, he's got a poster on his wall that starts with like the first I guess it's going back to Nike's Air Force. I don't know. It's before Air Force. I don't know.
Air Force Ones, maybe?
Yeah. Anyway.
So he's about that life then. He's going to love this then.
Oh, he thinks I'm the least cool person on the planet, man. But no, he definitely has convinced me that, I should invest more in my footwear. And to be honest, you should, right? I mean, you're standard, you're working, you're walking around. They should be comfortable.
Yeah.
Might as well look good too.
Yeah. The older I get, the more my selection is more of a hybrid between fashion and comfort.
Right.
Like I had to have some comfortable shoes on, man. Because I have a bad back. I have to be out here. It's a tough job coming out here to sip whiskey and talk to distillers about booze and shoes. Man, I appreciate you, man. This is great. I don't know how I'm gonna do with this whole bar segment. You getting me pretty juiced up over here.
It's 2 cask strength spirits, one after another. It's, they get you.
That rye does not sip that strong.
No, it does not.
That is great. I haven't added a drop to it.
No,
it doesn't sip that strong, and that is my kind of spirit.
Yeah,
that's my kind of spirit. Anything you want to leave the people with?
Just come on down, see us. You can order online, do a virtual tour with us. And then hopefully things will get better soon, and we'll have you all down here, see you in person, take you on a tour in person.
Yes.
But looking forward to doing a little tour here and having a cocktail with Ted out at the bar.
Yeah, for sure, man. We were supposed to do the little tour thing first, but they had how much corn you said?
Oh yeah, 15 tons of corn and rye just showed up.
15 tons of corn and rye showed up. Yeah. Hopefully we can show you guys what that process looked like.
Yeah.
But we'll still get on a little tour in and get that to the people, man. So cheers, brother. Thanks a lot, Alex.
Oh, let me grab it.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
I have more whiskey to finish up too.
Mm-hmm.
It's tour time. We're at Eight Distilling. My man Alex is going to take us on a tour. I have my glasses off because I haven't mastered the fog up with the mask yet. So
I hear you there.
Let's do it, man. What you got for us?
All right. Let's head back to the production space and see how we make this juice. All right. So it looks like Steven's hard at work here, putting away all this good grain we just got in. Some of that Hickory King corn we use in our bourbon, and some rye as well. Came from Culpeper in Chestertown, Maryland. Culpeper, Virginia, and Chestertown. So let's head on back here. Hang out here, a little bit out of the way for a minute. Oh, shoot. Can you give us 5? All right. So just got this grain in, and that's where our process starts. When we're making our spirits, we're starting with grain. So we are got some corn, Hickory King, that we use in our bourbon, and some rye that we use in bourbon, rye whiskey, of course, vodka, and gin. Mm-hmm. We get it in these super sacks, 1-ton sacks, that we can then load on our grain handler here. And this grain, we program how much we want on that panel in the back. It'll fly through here and move up to our mill. And the flour then
is augered up. So it's a big screw in those tubes that's pushing it across, pulling it up, and moving it across to our mash tun. So that's that big tank back here. So that's where we're cooking the grain, breaking down the starch into sugar that the yeast will then consume. We're hearing in the background some of our fermenters working. They're agitating, they're stirring up the fermentation. So we've got a grain-in mash that the yeast is working on, making it to alcohol. Today, actually, we've got single malt going on, and we didn't talk about single malt at all because it hasn't been released yet. But 100% malt, fermenting away, and we'll distill that off tomorrow. So those are mashes. Those 2 tanks have mashes that we mashed on Monday. And we'll mash again tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll make some bourbon.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, it was exciting.
So then we'll pump it over through that pump on the floor over there. Comes up that pipe that actually has those green little tags on it. Goes across here and then over to our stills. And we can take a look over at our stills over here. Okay. So it's coming across here and then into the stills. We've had these stills now for about 1.5 years. 2 great stills. So we've got the one still here, and this is our continuous column or beer still. And that's where we're going to distill it first. And then we redistill on the pot. So we can fill whiskey right off the column still, but since these stills are new, our old still was a pot still, and we want to try to be consistent in our flavor profile coming off the stills, and the column still is a very different flavor profile, so we redistill it on the pot. And that's the same for our vodka too. But when we're making vodka, we're using those columns, those copper columns up there, and getting a much higher proof coming off the still. So actually, if we want to walk around.
The smell is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, it's so good.
Yeah. We can walk around here and look at those stills a little better. So over here, we can see behind, we've got the column still. That's that stainless column with the copper on the top. And that can get to as high as about 160 proof, although most of the time we're coming off at about 135 proof. Then we'll collect that and then put it in the pot still over there. By the way, the column still we call Connie. Nice. Pot still we call Pearl over here. Yeah. So Pearl, we can distill it, depending on how we use it, as low as 150 proof coming off the column first, or as high as 192 when we're making our vodka.
Yeah.
So legally, in the United States, vodka has to be distilled to 190 proof. Unlike most folks in the area or other craft distillers, when they're making vodka, they're starting with what's called neutral grain spirit that's already at 190 proof. Also the same for making gin. And then they can redistill it, or they can just filter it and put it in the bottle. We don't do that. We start with the same rye, same corn, same malt that we make with our whiskey, and we mash that, we ferment it, and then we distill it.
Okay.
And we get to 190 proof.
Okay.
Right now, we're the only distillery in DC that's making their vodka and their gin that way. Everybody else is starting with neutral grain.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of a thing that's important to me.
Indeed.
To start with those raw ingredients to make it, instead of starting with somebody else's neutral grain spirit. So yeah, these stills are made in Italy. Beautiful, beautiful copper and stainless. Yeah.
Amazing. Even the detail they put into the stainless steel portion of the columns.
Right.
Is it's a beautiful thing. And so when you're making vodka.
Yeah.
So at the point where you say, okay, we're going to make some gin, what do you do at that point?
Yeah.
Where does that process jump off?
After we distill the vodka, so we got our base spirit over 190 proof, what we'll do is we'll take it over here to this little still in the corner. We're still a pretty small craft distillery, so we do things in small batches. So this little guy.
Whoa, look at this.
Yeah, so this is our test still actually. Whoops, let me get that pump out of the way. This is our little test still. So we can do small batches for whiskey, for brandy, for other spirits. We've done some grappa on here. We've done some watermelon brandy on here.
Oh, nice.
All kinds of fun things. Turns out watermelon is mostly water. Hard to distill.
Right.
But the lessons we learn.
Right.
But the other still in the corner there, that's our gin still. That little guy.
Okay.
The ice still over here.
That looks like it should be a gin still.
Right?
Look at it.
So that comes from outside of Amsterdam in the Netherlands there. Really great company. I actually had to go and check it out because I couldn't believe it. The price was right and I thought it was too good to be true, but actually it works really well. Small batches, 200 liters at a time. So one batch coming off our big still is running this thing like 12 times. So 12 days we're running that to make our gin. So what we'll do is we'll soak juniper and one of our other botanicals that's called Appalachian allspice or American spice bush. Grows all over the eastern U.S. That's our signature gin botanical. We'll soak that in the spirit for 3 days, put it in there, we'll grind up all the other botanicals. And when I first started making it, I thought, hey, we're a craft distillery. I'm going to do this a craft way. I brought in a mortar and pestle from home. I'm grinding up my botanicals. Did not work.
Right.
I couldn't grind up things like the orris root, the licorice root. So what I did was I talked to our friends in the coffee world. We were talking about working with Vigilante and Zeke's Coffee earlier. And they said, you got to get a burr grinder. So I got a burr grinder. I killed that motor in 2 days. So what do? I buy like a simple Krups coffee blade grinder. Works like a charm. $10, it was great. 12, maybe 15 bucks, whatever.
How about that?
Anyway, grind up my botanicals. I hang them in little baskets that sit under the column. And so when the vapor comes up, it picks up those botanic flavors, those oils, and comes through distillation that way. And that's how we'll make our gin.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you have your regular gin, right?
Yep.
But then you have your Untitled gin.
Yes.
What separates the two?
Right, so we've done different things with the Untitled Gin series, just like the Untitled Whiskey series, small batch, experimental. Untitled Gin 1, we changed the botanical bill a little bit. We added some orange peel, and we aged it in a bourbon barrel.
Yes, indeed.
Really lovely. We liked it. However, we wanted more oak. So Untitled Gin 2, we aged some of it in bourbon and some of it in new oak barrels. Gave it more oak flavor, more character, more color, deeper color. In fact, I think Ted's going to make a cocktail with it later. Untitled Gin number 2 became District Made Barrel Rested Gin. So it's part of the District Made lineup now, our core lineup.
All right.
Untitled Gin 3, we aged in a Calvados cask. Untitled Gin 4 just is dropping soon over at our neighbors, Gravitas. It's a restaurant over here in Ivy City. Matt Baker's the chef, really amazing chef. He won a Michelin star over there. They commissioned us to make a gin for them. We went over there. They have a rooftop garden. And we picked some cinnamon basil from their garden. We distilled that cinnamon basil. We blended that in. We made a gin just for them.
Oh my God.
So they will have that. If they don't have it already, they'll have it very soon.
Oh my God, that's fantastic.
It is a tasty
dude.
gin.
I have the gin Untitled, I think number 1 at my house.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I really
buddy.
love it. I really love it.
Good stuff.
I love using the barrel rested gins like 1, 2, and our core District Made Barrel Rested Gin, because it's like a whiskey lover's gin.
Yeah.
You're getting some of that oak, but you also have the botanicals of the gin, so it's a real fun blend. Both of those things going on.
You know, for the people who always say, I drink clear liquor. I don't like, I don't do brown liquor. Every spirit starts out clear.
Yes.
It's the barrel that turns it brown.
It's true.
So yes, you love gin, you just don't know it yet.
Right. Yeah. I mean, even some folks though they will add caramel color, give it a
we have that.
But we don't do that. We just get the color from the oak.
There's that. And that's it. That's what we got here, huh?
Yeah. Do we want to look at some barrels in the back?
Why not?
All right.
Let's do it.
So yeah, after distilling our spirits, we then will age those gins, but mostly it's whiskeys. So we do all of our aging of our whiskey here on site. We've got a fair number of barrels aging back here.
Woo, buddy. Yes, indeed.
So over here, most of these barrels on the right, straight ahead, and over here are whiskey we've made ourselves. We got some of the sourced barrels. You can see they look a little older. I love this stuff right here. This is what happens when whiskey is coming through the barrel and leaking down from probably the barrel on top of it, and just kind of turns into this like caramel candy, whiskey candy.
This is fantastic.
This will get under your nails, but if you're curious, man, just you can try to scrape some off. Oh, that's dry. That's dry on there, but
that's like candy.
It is. It is.
It's whiskey candy.
Yeah, it is. So these barrels are about 14 years old.
Oh, wow.
But our own whiskey here, we've got some of our older juice.
Rock Creek Bourbon.
Rock Creek Bourbon, our old name for our bourbon, now district made bourbon. So this little code right here tells you exactly when the barrel was filled. So 15L11. So let's see, L is what the, is that the 12th? I guess it's the 12th letter of the alphabet, so that'd be December 11th, 2015. So that's an older barrel of
awesome,
bourbon right there.
That's awesome, man. And I would assume one of the biggest, concerns in this room is temperature control, correct? Right.
So we do not control the temperature. We want it to get cold in the winter, and we want it to get really hot in the summer. We want that whiskey to expand in the summer and contract in the winter. And that's like what we see in Kentucky and Tennessee. So it's really...
So it really just depends on the elements outside.
Yeah.
So the fans, what's the purpose of the fans?
We do have some fans moving air.
Okay, just moving, okay.
But that's about it. Otherwise, temperature-wise, we don't heat this room, we don't cool it.
Okay, all right, that makes sense, man.
Just move some air around otherwise.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Great barrel room here. You guys have a great space. Perfect space for what you guys are trying to accomplish.
We still have a lot of room to grow in here. Eventually, we hope that we'll need additional space to store barrels.
Hope so. We want
hopefully elsewhere in DC or maybe over in Maryland.
Yeah. You might want to go out of DC to get that space. It's a little cost effective.
Our rent is not cheap.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. I appreciate the tour.
Of course.
It was great, man. I mean, of course, I've done this before, but it's good to get a different perspective and to get this out to the people. So let me ask you real quick.
Yeah.
So in these containers right here, what's in there?
Yeah, so that's all hand sanitizer.
Whoa!
So, I said earlier when we were talking that we made a lot of hand sanitizer. I didn't tell you how much we made. And, back in March, when this all went down with the COVID and the pandemic, there was a need for hand sanitizer. We couldn't get it. So we made a lot of it. Wow. But unfortunately, when the big companies, the Purells and everybody else came back, now we can't sell it as much. So, like I was saying, if anyone has a need, has a cause, we're happy to donate to. And if you need some, come and buy it here. Support the small business.
For sure, man. That's awesome, man. Yo, Alex, appreciate you, brother.
Pleasure, man.
I'm saying great
Brocky.
time. The sipping was fantastic. The tour is great. And it's just so much that goes into this whole process that produces, that juice that you love in a bottle, or that cocktail that you love, and that's what we try to get across on this show. So I appreciate you taking time out of your day to sit with me and to walk with me and talk about the process, man.
Oh, thank you for coming in, man.
Stay safe. And I'm about to go to the bar.
Let's do it.
And get some cocktails and talk to Ted.
Yes.
And get further inebriated.
How's it going, guys? My name is Ted. The first drink I'll be making today will be Award 8. It is a variation on a whiskey sour. I kind of rejiggered the cocktail a little bit because I wasn't happy with the kind of original historical spec. I'm just finishing up juicing some lemons for this now, but it's really good. I'll walk you through it. Let's see. Got a couple of these here. I'm going to start with a little bit of blood orange syrup. The bottom of my glass here. use a district made rye for this. I'm gonna make 2 at once, so I'll just double up the proportions. Go with 3 ounces of rye. Go with 2 ounces of fresh squeezed lemon juice. Then we will add 1 ounce of maraschino liqueur. So this Luxardo. Sorry, maraschino liqueur. There we go. And an ounce of dry curacao. And because this is a sour, we are going to add some Aquafaba. You can use an egg white. This is kind of a vegan alternative. 1 ounce of Aquafaba will equal about 1 egg white. So we're going to add 2 ounces of Aquafaba here. So once again, we're making 2 cocktails. Gonna add a little bit of ice. Also, I forgot some simple syrup. I'm gonna add 1.5 ounces of simple syrup here and split over 2 cocktails, don't forget. Get that nice and cold. Then we are going to strain this into the tin so we can get a nice dry shake going. Dump our ice. And get another shake. This will help emulsify the egg white or the aquafaba, whatever protein you use. Get a nice froth. Should be good enough. Go. We can go ahead and add it to our glass here. Alright, and we can go ahead and garnish here. A little bit of bitters. It's a regular Angostura. And why not, a little bit of Peychaud's for some color. little bit of artwork. And there you have it, the Ward 8.
Gotta sip it slow, yeah, that's the motto. Get relaxed, no reason to trip. It's the boy Brocky, man, whiskey and kicks. We pour a glass, toss it up.
All right, baby, here we are, man. It's bar time. It's cocktail time.
Let's do it back here.
My man Ted, man, what's good, bro?
Chilling, man.
Appreciate you, man. You got these cocktails here, but we'll get into that in a second. But man, what's going on with you?
Nothing much. Been here a lot. Been doing a lot of bottling. Yeah. Not a lot of cocktail stuff going on, but just trying to stay safe, trying to keep it going through the COVID thing. So.
Indeed. So your history, man. I mean, we have a lot to talk about because I saw you make this cocktail. I have questions, but your history in the bar scene, like when did you start off with this making drinks?
So I started bartending probably in about 2016. Mm-hmm. So I've only been at it for about 4 years. I had some great mentors. Andrew, you met him.
Yeah.
He's really helped me progress rapidly. Even being here, just other bartenders that have come in, Ian, Chris, there are a bunch of people that have definitely helped me out, and then I've been able to help them too. So it's kind of like a give and take.
Yeah.
So about 4 years, I started in Arlington at a small burger bar. Went from there to New York to East One Coffee Roasters. There was a small 6-seat bar there, kind of cut my chops there a little bit. Moved back here. I was bartending at Busboys and Poets. They opened a new one in Anacostia. So I did that for a while. It was a little hectic, but
Oh yeah, I've been to that one.
Yeah, a little hectic because they were just opening, but I helped them open that. And then Andrew gave me a call. He was like, "Yo, you wanna get behind the bar here?" I was like, "Definitely, I'm all for it." So yeah, I've been here ever since.
So you guys knew each other already?
So I worked with Andrew at the first place I started bartending.
Oh, okay.
He actually gave me the first shot behind the bar. So
dope.
So yeah.
Once you came into there's benefits, I guess, from a monetary standpoint of slanging drinks or whatnot, but the science and the math behind this whole craft cocktail industry had to be a little bit alluring to you.
Yeah, I mean exactly. So I mean. It's like a really. I guess there's a kind of secret society of bartenders, the late night crowd. So, but within that, there's craft bartenders, and they're just just eating random foods, just going out together, getting food, and just tasting random things. So opening up your palate to more things, and just a lot of collaboration. Have this spec, can you change it a little bit? Or it's more technical instead of just let's get drunk after work. So we'll be here when service is going on, we'll be here and we'll have 20 of the same cocktails with half ounce differences of a liqueur and what does this taste like? What does that taste like? It'd be you call it booze lab. So little stuff like that, I love, man. I've been able to really develop my palate and share with other people.
That's dope. So what do we have in front of us right here?
So this is the Ward 8. I'm born and raised in Ward 8 in DC. So I thought this would be the first cocktail. So this is a sour variation. Instead, it calls for orange juice. But I'm not really a huge fan of adding orange juice to cocktails. They kind of can get, muddled and mixed around and kind of mute all the other spirits and flavors in the cocktails. So instead of that, I used dry curacao. Instead of calls for a maraschino cherry or a maraschino syrup, I use the maraschino liqueur to kind of keep the ABV up.
Yeah.
And I really think that accentuates the rye and that toffee and everything in the rye. So it's pretty good.
So I saw you. Let's go. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and get to it, man.
Yeah,
this thing is beautiful, dude. Great presentation. Cheers, man.
Half the battle, right?
Yeah.
Drink what you have.
Yeah. Oh wow, wow, man, that is a nice play. So you put the what is it? The orange.
The orange curacao.
Blood orange.
The blood orange syrup. So we make this blood orange syrup here.
Okay.
I thought to get some of that natural orange flavor still in the cocktail without adding orange juice and kind of washing it out. Just to bar spoon of this in the bottom of the glass.
Right. So
just like helps.
What's the science behind that? Because you didn't put it in with the shake. You put it in the bottom of the glass and then you poured into it.
So I mean, a lot of that is kind of like aesthetics to get that like a red. Kind of at the bottom of the glass.
Okay, got you.
It mixes in a little bit. So at the end of the glass, you're gonna get like a nice little orange candy. When you finish the drink.
This is a great cocktail, dude. So the substitute you use for the egg white, what was that again?
So it's Aquafaba. So it's basically did this earlier actually. So empty a can of chickpeas. Actually save the chickpeas. Nothing goes to waste. Make some hummus or some something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So you empty a can of chickpeas, strain it out, and this water you can make mayonnaise. You can make like lemon meringue. You can
Are you
make,
serious, dude? That's chickpea juice.
Chickpea water, man. That's all it is.
Wow, dude, you got me on that one.
It's a little safer than using egg white. You don't have to worry about the raw area.
And it foams up just like egg white would.
Foams up really well.
It's not. I don't know if I'm catching any of that on the flavor profile of this cocktail.
So it does add a little bit of salinity, but it's kind of negligible. Like over all the ingredients in the cocktail, it's like very negligible the amount of salinity that adds.
Is this something that people can find? Do they market this and sell this separate from buying a can of chickpeas?
I'm pretty sure someone's doing that. Someone's capitalizing that somewhere.
You might have to cut this out so my man can go ahead. There's more of that. I'm not trying to make money off of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like 90% sure somebody has done it. They might mark it up or whatever, but probably the easiest way is chickpeas aren't that expensive. Grab a huge can of chickpeas, and they kind of like last almost indefinitely. If you keep it refrigerated, I wouldn't keep it more than 2 months. Right.
Kind of loses some of that like protein that keeps the foam going, but it kind of lasts indefinitely for sure.
I'm telling you, like this sour, and I'm just gonna call it sour.
Yeah, it is a sour.
It's a sour at the end of the day with lemon juice. It's almost like I'm eating food.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean? Like it's like I'm eating a meal right now. It's almost like it's so it's I don't know if the word is robust, but it's a filling kind of feel to it, like you're eating a meal almost in liquid form.
It's like the texture. It's good.
Yeah, man, it's fantastic. So your experience, man, in these 4 years, which is not a very long time, but at the same time it kind of is in the bartending industry because you can pick up so much information in that amount of time. But as a black bartender, have you seen a difference in your experience in the bartending scene compared to some of your contemporaries who are not of the melanin persuasion?
I do notice a little bit of like apprehension. Like I remember, I won't give names.
Yeah.
But I went to apply for like a bartender position at another craft bar in DC. It was just like I was met with apprehension. Maybe I don't have the look of someone like who has like kind of developed palate. But yeah, I guess they were very like skeptical. Like I just tell they were skeptical. Like how do you make it old fashioned? Like and give them like an old fashioned spec. Like you probably should use like Demerara instead of this. And they're like, oh okay. Like and then at the end of the day I got the job, but I don't want to be there.
It's a big deal.
I'm taking my talents to South Beach.
No doubt. But in general, have you felt for me, getting into Whiskey and Kicks and getting out here, speaking with different people, becoming friends with a lot of people in the industry, I've noticed a big, the whole bartending scene in DC is like a family.
It is.
You understand what I'm saying? So you've experienced that too.
Yeah, so there's like a DC Craft Bartenders Guild. Yeah. There's like, they like look out for a lot of people. I'm not like an actual member yet, so I've been like paying my dues and all that. But
I need to get a membership too, man. I rock with them.
So it's like a huge family. People will come by here. Like I said earlier, they just like share. They're here. They're from like either from Cotton and Reed or from Morris or from like Homestead or something like that, and they'll just like share cocktail ideas. Just decompress and it's really cool.
No doubt. And your experience is there a difference between? There is a difference, but I want your perspective of it. Working in a distillery compared to working in just a bar where you have a bunch of different type of whiskeys, a bunch of different type of spirits. Here, you're only using pretty much 1/8. Once you use your liqueurs and stuff like that, you're out.
So one of the coolest things is like here, our main spirits kind of like our smallest expense. So like at a regular bar, like they keep everything else kind of under like lock and key. You can't be too experimental with everything. Like who used all the Grey Goose? Like, we got pallets of vodka back there. Right. I can make like 5 different drinks and there, just dump it. But it's so I noticed that's what I really like about being here. I can experiment a lot, and it's not like too big of a strain. And also like I know in other distilleries in like Maryland or Virginia, you can't use outside spirits or anything like that. The thing about a distillery in DC is that you don't have to make everything that you use in house. So we can, as long as we sell an ounce of our spirit in the cocktail or with a drink, we're good. We have like an open field, so we can like add all the liqueurs and things like that. Yeah. And it's like it really opens everything up for experimentation and things like that. That's dope. And there's like Don Ciccio across the street.
Folks over there.
Yeah, and then the next cocktail I'll show you use actually the next two. If we get to two, I'll show you that we use their Hibisco, bit of liqueur, and the Don Ciccio Chickpea. Okay. They're both like super good. They do a really good job over there, and it's like a community amongst distillers here around here too. And it's like a family.
Yeah. Ivy City is Ivy City is huge with the whole distillery situation. I mean, it's a few of you guys over here, so I would assume that you guys have a family kind of feel to your interactions. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's dope. Yeah, man, this is good, man. So you're an artist.
Thank you.
Well, you're an artist here, but you're an artist in other ways also, right?
Yeah. So I'm a musician, and I've been playing bass and guitar for about 15 years. Been in a few bands. Actually, started DJing like since COVID hit. Whoa! And I had my first DJ set this past weekend. It went pretty well. Like it's pretty fun. I'm just picking up new skills. Like always trying to express myself, be an artist. And I guess so. Really, a big thing about making cocktails and just make a cocktail, see somebody take that first sip, and you don't even have to say anything, but that smile on their face, it's it's everything.
That's dope. So, but you said you play bass?
Bass and guitar, yeah.
Bass and guitar. Yeah. So, you have your own band, or what do you do?
I'm doing some solo stuff now. I was actually a part of a metal band called Kill Mo. Okay. I'm familiar with the phrase, the DC phrase. It's like Kill Mo. It's like a phrase in DC. So we were doing that for maybe a year and a half. Had a few shows, recorded a little bit, but then just managing 4 egos and 4 different people in their time. I want to be a DJ. I want to do it myself, So outside of that, I'm always down to jam with somebody or even meet new people that are even just serious about the art. If you're look at it as a job, it's art. You're having fun, but at the end of the day, come to practice, come to the show. Yes. Be prepared. It's not you're not getting paid. Make the money. It's a job. No doubt. So everybody doesn't understand that, but it's if you find a good set of people. There's definitely I've worked with people out there that are really professional and all that, but it's hard. It's hard to find
It is, man. Being you're a creative as they call them these days, and it is definitely you have to be patient, and it's your passion, so you'll never just give it up.
Yeah, exactly.
When did you start playing?
So I started playing in middle school. I went to Hardy Middle School in DC, and I was playing trumpet, and I got braces, and I was just I can't play trumpet anymore with these braces. My lips are getting cut up. My uncle for Christmas, he got me a bass, and I was ever since I was just getting a first lesson and started translating what I learned on trumpet, theory and everything to the bass, and I was just I love it. Like, you know, like, it's like, yo, it's more straight. He's like, yo, once you get a groove, then he's like, oh, yeah. So that's what happened, man. And I've been at it ever since.
Word, man, that's dope, man. You know, I'm all about it, man. I love when people have passions and they pursue those passions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's dope that you still maintain that, and then you have another passion here. Like before you started bartending, did you even feel like you had a passion for this, or did you have a passion for science and math or anything like that?
I'm gonna do like science.
Yeah.
I'm not a math fan.
Because this is science.
Yeah. So I went to Iowa State. I was supposed to be in the software engineering program, and I was like, yo, too many math classes. I'm over this. So I went to the College of Design. I was like, yo, I'm gonna be like an integrated studio artist, where you're painting and stuff. And I was like, yo, this is like way too subjective. Like, these teachers, they don't know what they're talking about. Like, I spent hours on this. Niggas giving me like a C. Like, oh, this is an A, bro. You know what I'm saying? This is an A. You didn't tell me this is not an A. Like, after that, I was like, yo, you just gotta get out of here. Switch to like English, like liberal arts, and I was just like, yo, I gotta get out. I finished that. And then I moved to Chicago, and that's when I started drinking a lot. Like going to bars, like, you know, tasting different stuff, and I was like, yo, I can do this, like, you know, like, so it's like, I like this flavor, I like this flavor, and I'm like, I can mix
Drinking a lot is relative. It's, you know.
Responsibly drinking a lot.
Yeah. So, everybody relax.
Yeah. And then it was like, once I moved back to DC, I was like, yo, like, I think I can do it. You know, I think I can, like, you know, get behind the bar. So once I started at the burger place, I started as a server there, did that for like maybe like 2 months, and then moved up to the bar there, and I was just like, yo, this is it. Now I feel like I'm home.
You kind of glossed over. You left Washington, D.C. and went to Iowa?
Iowa, bro.
Whoa!
Yeah.
You went to Iowa.
I mean, you can imagine why. Like, you know, affirmative action. Like, it was like,
you in there.
Like, yo. I'm in there, bro. Like, yo. I took that free money, man.
Like, look, my son just decided to go to Fashion Institute of Technology in Manhattan, but he had a scholarship to go to school at Kent State in Ohio. You know what I mean? I was for Ohio before they presented the scholarship, because I just thought it was the best fit. But he wants to be in the city. He wants to be where everything is happening. I get it. You know what I mean? So leaving a place like Washington, D.C. to go to a place like Iowa, it had to be a major culture shock.
It was definitely, like, especially like my high school had maybe like 90 kids in the graduating class. It was, you know, primarily black too.
Yeah. Chocolate City was Chocolate City.
Yeah, it was Chocolate City. So 2009. So Chocolate City was still, it was changing. It was still like, you know, primarily black. Then going to Iowa, it was just like, man, like, you know, everybody was like, yeah, they've never seen like someone like you before. So it was like, let's stay a little bit, you know. But then you become like, you know, like, oh, he's cool. He's not like all black people aren't what you see on, like, you know, The Wire or like, you know, something like that.
The Wire, right?
It's a real thing. I did notice that when I did see another black face like in Iowa, it was like, yeah, you make sure, like, you know, you say hi and, like, you know, greet him and everything. It's like, yo. So you're in too.
We're together. Yeah. We're brothers.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. Yeah, I definitely had a blast. Like, met some great people. Friends that still have to this day, like, you know, that I used to, like, you know, lifelong friends I hadn't met there. Learned a lot. Learned a lot about, like, you know, just like farm, like, just like I stayed at like a friend's farm for like a few weekends, like, you know, just like learned a lot about like agriculture and like random stuff that I probably wouldn't, you know, have learned here. Yeah. So like, I mean, I definitely like enjoyed the experience for sure.
That's dope, sir. Let's go ahead and break, man. We're gonna get this second cocktail going on. If y'all see me drinking a third cocktail, that means Ted got the best of me. Because I'm already good. I'm already whiskey. I'm one cocktail down. Y'all see how I play. So
that was a light one. We'll do more boozy.
We're gonna get crazy in a couple seconds, man. I appreciate you, brother.
No problem. So right now I'm gonna make a rusty nail variation. I call it the Paramore. I am a fan of it because of its sexy red color and its use of the Untitled number 9. which has a very like huge Speyside Scotch note, which in this case I'll use to replace Scotch. All right, so I'm gonna start by setting some things on fire. So I want to accompany the Speyside like smoky Scotch note and the 9 with some cedar smoke. And you know it's hard to quit smoking cocktails cold turkey, so it's a fun little trick. All right, so I am not sure where we get the wood. Some cedar trees. I'm not sure where we get the wood. All right, so we're going to do 3 cocktails this time. So we'll do 6 ounces of our Untitled number 9.
Okay, to be honest, you kind of look like a mad scientist, like measuring stuff out.
With the glove?
Yep.
All right, done with that.
It does.
We'll do 3/4 of an ounce of Drambuie, which is a honey kind of Scotch liqueur. And let's see, 1.5 ounces. I had to do some quick maths in my head for 3, but 1.5 ounces of the Don Ciccio Hibisco. It's a hibiscus bitter liqueur. It's really great. It's probably one of the last few bottles in existence. They discontinued it, but maybe able to still pick up a bottle or 2. I'm gonna round that out with a few dashes of cranberry bitters. One more for good measure. And drop some ice in here. Very nice stir. To get nice and cold and get some nice dilution in there. A little more. Right. orange oil. And here we go, the Paramore.
All right, man, so what do we have here?
So this is the Paramore. It is a rusty nail variation. Uses the number 9. You guys went over the number 9 with Alex, right?
Yes, sir.
It's a very like unique Scotch. Unique way. I call it a Scotch, but it's not a Scotch.
I understand where that's coming from.
Yeah, you see where I'm coming from there, but yeah, there's a very like unique spirit. So I thought this would like kind of like accentuate it well.
I'm just looking at it right now. I kind of watched you making this from a distance, but I could see the oil is floating on top, whatever that is.
Yeah, so that's it's a combination of the orange oil and probably some of the oils from the Drambuie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it, man. Cheers, brother. Wow. Okay, so I didn't watch you make this.
Yeah.
Right? Like I said, from a distance. I'm getting some sharp flavors. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I'm getting some sharp flavors with this cocktail. It's not bitter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's not sweet either.
Nah, it's like a charity, man. I guess
It's crazy. It's boozy. Oh man, that is fantastic, dude.
So that the cranberry bitters like help kind of give it that like sharp tartness that you need.
Okay. That's what tartness. Yeah.
And then the orange oil too, like the nose just kind of like it gives you everything.
Yeah. That's fantastic. So look, man, we're gonna sip this cocktail.
Yeah, it's a slow sipper, man.
Yeah, we're gonna take our time with this one. But this is where I pose questions from Whiskey and Kicks followers, supporters. Yeah. All right. So let's get to it. My first question is from my friend Leslie, aka Whiskey is my yoga. What are your favorite seasonal ingredients?
So seasonal ingredients. I'm a huge fan of pineapples. I do love blood oranges as well. I use those in the first cocktail. This is available seasonally that like I really like to get when I can get my hands on it.
What season is pineapple?
Maybe, like I guess in 2020 it's like every season. I have 2 pineapples growing in my front yard right now.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. I probably should move them inside soon, but.
Word.
But yeah, but I mean, yeah, I guess summer months are kind of like a pineapple open season.
Indeed.
Blood oranges kind of like late spring. There'd be another season. What else is weird?
I mean, we had blood orange in that last cocktail, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it works. It works. It's cool. It's cool. Yeah.
What else is a good seasonal ingredient? I really don't know. I feel like if I see an ingredient and it could be like the first time I see it ever, I'll taste it. If I had it once before, I'll be let's try the cocktail. Let's put it in.
Let's go.
I can balance something to make it work. You know.
Listen, you had a cocktail with chickpea juice in it. So look, you know what I'm saying? There's no, we're not questioning that at all.
Blood orange is like a really big. Rhubarb is a good one too.
Okay.
But blood orange is like a really big cocktail ingredient that's kind of seasonal. You can only get them pomegranate too. And you can always get palm juice, but fresh pomegranates, man, you put them in a juicer, man.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's good.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
My second question from my friend Angela: has anyone ever stumped you with a drink order?
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's so many cocktails and cocktail variations. Let me get a fuzzy Hawaiian. I don't know what that is, man. luckily, like now I have the confidence to be like, yo, like, hey, like what's in it? Like I just say, yo, I'll ask some shit up, like, yo, what's in it? If I don't know the spec or anything, I can just say. I mean, I don't have to know the spec, but I can say like, what are the ingredients, or like, what does it taste like? Okay. I'll give you something similar from that. Okay. I mean, even if it's not too busy and I'm in service, well, Google it. We all got smartphones. Like, right. Yeah, I'm never like. When I first started, I would get like very nervous when someone asked me like a drink that I didn't know. Yeah. But I realized like everybody's creating like that's like somebody asking like, hey, like I had this drink here, like let me get a Paramore, like at some other bar, like. They're not gonna know what you're talking about. you gotta say, hey, like it tastes like this, it had these ingredients, and like. I'm pretty sure any competent bartender is going to be able to like help you out for sure.
Okay, so you said something there. So if someone says, "Oh yeah, well I want whatever," you're like, "What the hell is that?" And they tell you the ingredients. Then in your mind, you're thinking to balance this cocktail out.
Exactly.
I need these proportions of these ingredients.
So if it's like if someone says like it's kind of like a Manhattan. I'm like so you have like your spirit. You're gonna have like 2 ounces of your spirit. You're gonna have like. An ounce of a vermouth or like some kind of like liqueur that's comparable with vermouth. Yeah. And then you're gonna add some bitters. You can like play with flavor profiles from there, but like you're gonna always have like a set. Like one thing like too like Andrew told me was like everything's based off classics. Like you have like cocktail trees. Like you have like old fashions, Manhattans, like like and it's all like they all come from somewhere and they all have some like kind of like family that they belong in. So. Based off of that, like I feel pretty confident, like I've been able to like recreate anything, or just give somebody like the flavor profile that they're looking for, and like still make it good.
It's dope. Yeah. It's dope. All right, man. So my next question is for my man Jamal Carter, proud dad of a bunch of football players and the husband. Good dude. Is this a career or a job for you?
Now I'm starting to look at it as more. I mean, it started definitely like as a job. Like when I moved back from Chicago, I was like, yo, I need to make money. I need to like do this. But now, it's like I really enjoy it. Like I really like enjoy doing it like full time, especially like working here at 1-8 with like Alex and Sandy. Like I'm definitely like looking forward to making it a career. But if it's not here, like maybe like make it open in my own spot at some point. But yeah, definitely like I'm in the cocktail game to stay. I think.
You're good at what you're doing. I mean, you can't just do this shit. Like, it is math, it is science, it is art. At the end of the day, so just the 2 cocktails that I've had from you, while somebody can just tell you, oh yeah, a half an ounce of this, an ounce of that, 2 ounces of this, or whatever. At the end of the day, you still have to make that cocktail. Yeah. And this is a representation of your interpretation of whatever you learned at the time. So, so I'll give you all the props in the world, man.
Thank you.
No complaints here, man. This cocktail right here, man. I'm about to go drink a gallon of water before I leave one of them. So, look, man, this last question. How do you take care of a loyal customer that likes a good pour, but still drive a profit for the establishment that you work for?
Let's see. Usually, I'm not a fan, even like, I'll say this, like, I'm not a fan of like, someone's like, yo, like, make it strong. I'm gonna unbalance the cocktail. I'm not gonna let you, like, I'm not gonna give you a drink that's like unbalanced with like, like booze in it. Like, right. Old fashioned with 4 ounces of So, I would take care of them, like, it's kind of like just being like really personal. Like, yo, like, what do you like? Or like, when they come in, like, yo, I know your order, man. Like, I know, like, what do you like? I know I can make a stronger cocktail. I can give you, like, an extra shot on the side or something like that. But yeah, I'm not the person that's gonna be like, yo, like, let me give you this this whiskey sour with like, a gallon of whiskey in it. Like, I'm not gonna do that. I feel like, an extra like shot, an extra like, do a shot with them, like, that doesn't hurt. And I feel like, a good loyal customer is always going to make sure that they like look out for you. They look out for the establishment.
For sure.
They want to be there. They want to keep coming.
Yeah.
So yeah, just little things like that. But I'm never the guy like, yeah, like I'll just keep pouring, like, I'm not
Good, man, good. Because it's about the craft. I mean, it's about taking care of the people, but you know, it's about the craft too.
And like for example, like here, we were talking about working at a distillery as opposed to like working at a bar. Mm-hmm. So like I had an instance. It was probably like it was obviously pre-COVID, but there was a group that came in. They were like, "Hey, let me get 4 shots of vodka." And I was like, those 4 shots are gonna be like $9. So I was like, yo, like, and it's like 3/4 of an ounce. I'm like, yo, if you buy a bottle, I'll just give you guys 4 shots. Like, yeah, if you buy a bottle of vodka, I'll give you 4 shots of vodka. Like, that's fair, right? Yeah, there's little things like that. Like, I mean, there's always a wiggle room, I guess, that you can like work with. Getting more bottle sales out. Like the end of the game here is like, bottle sales. So
listen, if you came to 8 Distilling and you asked for 4 shots of vodka, I'm not going to judge you. Then why did you ask for 4 shots of vodka?
About 2 bottles of vodka.
Vodka, like what is a shot of vodka? What is that? Anyway, man, how do people follow you if they want to check out your passion for music? We want to check out your passion for cocktails, whatever it is, man. How do people get in contact with you?
Yeah, so on Instagram, I'm primarily on Instagram. I have Ted Nugent at Ted Nugent. Also have a second handle. It's at WDC Apothecary. I make like my own syrups, infused syrups, and things like that. There. So you can definitely hit me up at either of those outlets. I think there's a Facebook page that matches each one.
Yeah.
Still trying to get more organized with it, but like I'm not the businessman guy. Like,
social media is a whole other thing, man.
Yeah. So I try to stay active and keep updating things like that. But at Ted Nugent, that's TEDNUDJENT.
Okay, boom.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. And then we are 18 is what at 18
at 18D.
At 18D.
So yeah, you can just go there. You can come in. Usually I'm here doing retail for almost days. So it'll either be me or Mel. We can definitely chat you up, help you out, give you some information, everything great.
Yeah, so I was gonna see Mel here today. She's
actually gonna be in probably about an hour.
Okay,
Actually, 15 minutes maybe.
Shout out to Mel. I met her the other day. I came here to scope out and everything. So, man, I appreciate you, man. Like the cocktail's fantastic. You're gonna make one more cocktail, but it's not gonna be for me.
Yeah,
it's not gonna be for me. But I appreciate you, man. Stepping up and doing this segment with me, and everything has been fantastic, man. You know what I'm saying? I
definitely love what you're doing too, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely keep it up. Yeah, I checked out a few videos. Man, this guy's gonna be big someday, man.
Appreciate it, brother. We staying with it, man. We're keeping it going. So, listen, kids, man, your boy Brocky. Now I'm signing off. I'm done. I am not drinking. Oh, I'm gonna finish my cocktail, but other than that, I'm done. So. Saying, yeah. My producer's behind the camera telling me, yeah, right here. Yeah, so we're done. 8 Distilling, Brocky, Alex, Ted, we out, man. Cheers.
Brocky, keep talking about whiskey and kicks.